Hello and welcome everyone to our Saturday stream. I'm Josh and this is our Fantasy Grounds map and image creation. This is where I go over all of the art related news as well as demonstrate the built-in tools inside of Fantasy Grounds Unity. Still, some people don't even realize the powerful map creation system inside of here, and not just for maps but for images as well. You can create handouts and all kinds of things, especially with the new export feature that came out a little while ago. In fact, here is a map that we made, finished up this last week. This one's pretty much all completed, so we get to move on to some new stuff today, which should be super fun. So if you guys have any suggestions, or as always, if you have any questions about any of the art-related kind of stuff inside of Fantasy Grounds, please let me know. If you have any suggestions on products that you might like to see in the future, dice, anything along those lines, also always open to suggestions and just, whatever you guys think might be a good addition to all of the stuff that we've kind of come out with. So, without too much further ado, we'll be just diving right into it. I don't have a whole lot of art-related news for you guys right now. The new art pack coming out this month is going to begin a series of like steampunk-style art packages. And then after that, I'm going to be, I believe, going into doing some more modern military kind of stuff. So be on the lookout for all of that stuff. I think that we have a pretty good foundation in the fantasy side of things and the medieval kind of stuff. So we're going to expand out and do some other stuff for some different genres. And even though they may be a little bit more niche-y, I think that'll be an overall good addition and can add in some elements to even fantasy kind of style gameplay. So it should be super fun. Great. So is there anything that you guys would like to see me create today? Oh, one other thing. I did put together a... let's go in here. I'm going to go into my images here. And let me just show you... I created a test module. And I've kind of... And we can just kind of... let's go to activation here. And I'm just going to type in token. Where you can actually use the built-in features in here in a rather interesting kind of way, and I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it or not. I know that once upon a time, token builders were pretty popular, but with our new export feature, you can certainly do that right inside of Fantasy Grounds. For example, what we can do here, and you can really do this with any images that you might have. And so what I did was I put together a collection of frames here. So these are ones that I had created a while ago, but they're pretty easy to use. So maybe we'll use something like this. And again, these are all just kind of dragged and dropped in here, so they work exceptionally well with the layers panel. And what we can do is we can come in here, we can change these colors to whatever we want to. Maybe we'll make this one a little bit more red. And then we have our backgrounds down here. And again, we can do this lots of different ways, and I have light ones and darker backgrounds and so on. But we can grab this folder right here, and again, we can do any sort of adjustments we want to for our color. And then in this painting area in here, we can drag and drop any image that we wish, or we can paint it out here. And then we'll be able to export this as our own token. So you guys are able to build your own tokens right inside of Fantasy Grounds super easily. So one of the things that you could do, for example, if we were to go into, let's find something that's going to be like a picture for us. Oh, I'll use the seeing what we have in here. Maybe if we go into our data here, we might have something that we can kind of use. Yeah, let's grab this guy. And so what I'm going to actually show you is how to use the fill system here. I'm going to turn off my stroke. I'm going to grab this guy and I'm going to drop him right in here. And now what I can actually do is in this little image area down here, I can drag out this image. Actually, let's do it as a circle. That's going to be a little bit easier for us to kind of work with here. And if you guys are not aware, what we can do is we can hold down, we can go right to the middle here. If we hold Control, it'll snap to this grid. But we can hold Alt, and it's going to do it according to the size of the grid system. So we can make it exactly the size that we want to. And then we can go into our Edit Fill area over here. We can grab our guy. And I can actually use Control and the mouse wheel to scale this down. So I can make this whatever I want to in here. I would even be able to go in and cut this guy completely out with the image system itself. And then I could very easily go in and just export this. And what this is going to do is going to have a little pop-up here. And I'll export it as a WebP file. And we'll just type in Krampus token here. And this is going to go into my my campaign folder over here. I'm going to have to hit this refresh button. And then if I type in Krampus, here I've just created my own token right inside of Fantasy Grounds exceptionally easily. So those are things that you can certainly do with the vast array of tools that we have inside of the image creation system. I'm going to open up my images here. And so, yeah, you don't even require it anymore. In fact, the way that this is set up, and if we go back into that, if I go back into here, right, like we could go into our painting tools, and I could start to come in and really do whatever I need to kind of add out some of this stuff here. And what I'll actually do is we'll do this a little bit rougher, something like this. And I can go back into my fill here, and I can kind of fade that stuff out. So you have kind of an amazing amount of control on getting any sort of image and then removing those elements. And then I might want to go to my background, go back into my layers tab here, and maybe we're going to make this something like this, like a little bit bluier for our winter, maybe a little bit lighter though. And boom, we have amazing amounts of control over how we interact with that system. Yeah, this is the Wizard Desk theme, the fancy one. Oh yeah, magic wand. So what kind of map should we be building today, guys? Do you guys have any suggestions? A parking garage, snow themed? Well, it is kind of into the holidays time of year, right? I think maybe we should do something snow themed. Santa themed parking garage. That sounds pretty interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna some new stuff. Yeah, we can do a frozen lake. Should we do like some cracks in the? Yeah, you got to park the sleigh somewhere. You want to do like cracks and whatnot in the? Oh yeah, we could do something under the ice. That sounds cool. Yeah, why don't we start with that? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new image record by right-clicking and selecting Create Item inside of my image window here, and then I can close that down. I don't really need that anymore. I'll expand this out some, and we'll maximize our space here a little bit. So we'll move this over. We'll get a little bit of a room here to kind of get our work going. I'm going to change the default size here to 100 by 100. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to lower down the opacity of my grid to something in like this area. You want to do like frozen reindeer? It's getting grim quickly. So there's two ways that we can kind of approach this, right? And I'm thinking that if we're going to do like a frozen lake, we're probably going to do the majority of the map in the lake itself, right? So let's go to our winter art package. I'm going to go up here to images. And nope, we don't want that. We just want this. There it is. Our winter map pack here. And one of the things that we have inside of our backgrounds here is that we have some pre-made things like this, right? So we have like these chunks of ice. We have this kind of like water, some stuff along these lines. But if we also have this seamless kind of background for it. And in our tiles, we actually do have some frozen water here. Now these all work exceptionally well with the painting tool. So I'm just going to switch over. Let's do a rectangle, and then I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to drop this in here. And then we'll drag out. I'm going to hold down Control so it kind of snaps to the grid here. And you can see we can pull out a nice big sheet of ice, and we can kind of zoom in here and see it's got lots of texture and whatnot. Now, if we want to, we can change the color of this. So we can go into our Edit Fill over here, and we can hold down R, G, or B, or all of the above, and control those values, right? So R is our red value. So if I move that up and down, I can make it a little bit more blue, removing the red from it. If I do the G, I can remove the green from it, and B, obviously the blue as well, right? So we have a lot of control over that. And if I do all of them at the same time, we can just make our ice a little bit darker. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to make it just a little bit more on the blue side rather than the purple side. And we can easily kind of adjust that back if we don't have enough contrast with like our snowy elements and whatnot. And then we have this other one that's got a lot more like cracks in it and whatnot. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back into my ellipse tool over here in the painting area, and I'm going to drag and drop this down. And I'm going to drag out some of these because I want there to be some like textural differences here. And let's go into the add functionality here so I can add to this. We're going to add in some different kind of elements here. And now what I can do is I can go back into my Edit Fill, and I can fade out these, as you can see here. And again, I'm going to bring it back down to about the same kind of colors. So you can see we can get some like texture variations without having to put in a whole lot of effort. And this is all just on one layer, right? And so this is going to be our background layer. And then we can add in some other additional elements if we want to. Yeah, you wouldn't walk on that. And we can also do lots of like cool things with this as well. If we want to paint some holes in this, we could do some water underneath. We could do any number of different things. So anything that you guys think would be kind of cool to see done, let me know. Inside of this map pack as well is we do have like cracks and whatnot. And something like this, what you could do is just, and what I would do is find the color that's going to be working best for us in this particular type of scenario, which again, I think we would do it a little bit more blue or whatnot. We could even do it much darker and lower down that opacity a lot to do like some of these. Or we could do it much lighter. And again, we would have to bring up that opacity. So, but we also, we use these a lot. I like these elements that we can use. So lots of different stuff that we can kind of go about here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new painting layer. And I usually make painting layers based off of if I ever want to, in the future, put something in between, right? So if I were to add, which I could do, all of my snow elements and anything that I want to have around this area, I could do it all in one layer, but then it would be much more difficult for me to interact between the snow and the ice. And for putting down shadows or adding additional kind of elements, I might want to have that flexibility in there. So I'll oftentimes separate that. So I'll know ahead of time that I may want to do that, and I'll separate that. Now, if you ever do get into a scenario where you've put things on the same layer, and in fact, let's kind of do that. I'm going to do that and show you guys how you can kind of separate them after the fact with the way that we interact with the painting system. So let's go into our backgrounds here. And again, I'm going to go over, let's go grab this snow element. And let's say I decide to, and again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold down, well, actually not. I'm just going to do some shapes over here. And I'm going to make sure that we start off in the new tab over here. And we can start to draw out some kind of like random snow shapes, and then we'll switch to the add functionality. We might want to break some things up here. May even want to do some stuff that kind of sticks out like this. And so I put this all on one layer, right? And maybe in the later areas, and what we can do, one of the easy ways to kind of tighten this up is we can go over to subtract now, and we can just remove like these kind of edges. And do something really quickly just like this, right? But let's say we've gotten to this point and then we're like, oh no, I wish I had separated the snow from the ice. All you have to do in this kind of scenario is you go to this layer and you're going to duplicate it, right? So down here we have a little button that says duplicate selected layer, and boom, we've done that. And now all I have to do is I'm going to go hide this one. So I'm back to my original one here. I'm going to go into my selection here, and I'm going to select all of this snow, and I'm just going to delete it. And then I can come back up into this one, and you see we have our snow back. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all the other stuff on this layer. And what I've inadvertently done very quickly is switched between the two layers now and separated them, as you can see, without much hassle. Now, obviously, if you have put a lot of work into it, and there are a lot of other elements that are included in that, so if you had done lots of different painted aspects and whatnot, that it can exponentially get much more difficult to kind of do that. But in these larger examples, it's super fast and it's super easy. So if you ever get into a situation like that, don't fret. It's pretty easy to fix. You do, yeah, a lot more cursing. So from here, what we can kind of do now is begin to manipulate some of this snow stuff up here. And we have a lot of control here. And there's a couple of different things that we can do. If we want to, we can come back in here and we can fade out the edges a little bit, right? I'm not going to do that. I want a kind of a crisp line here. And I'm going to paint out some elements from the other stuff here and kind of blend out some of these areas. But the first thing that I'm actually going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to simplify. And some of these larger areas over here, I can always come back in, and if I want to add more elements to it, again, right, I can just go back to my add, and I can add that to there. It should add that. Yeah, add that right to there. And now I can kind of control some of this stuff a little bit. Let's clean this up a little bit here. And I'm just going to add in some of these areas over here. And we'll give it a little bit more interesting shape. The magnetic snap is for snapping these together. So let's say if I wanted to snap where this is all on its own layer here, but let's say I wanted to snap this to this, it'll magnetically snap those things together. I think we'll keep that a little bit open. Magnetic snap is great for lining things up, like walls to floors and so on. Well, this is just in the painting area. So in the line of sight, it already does have point snapping on by default. So that will be the case there. And again, you can do grid snapping here and so on. And let's just change this one a little bit, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good. And without too many points to kind of confuse us here a little bit. So now I'm going to go over into my stamp tool, go back into the effects over here, and I'm going to grab some of these. I'm going to start off with some stuff like this. I'm going to make this a bit smaller. And I'm just going to use this and see, this is where we can do some fun stuff. So if I create a new painting layer and I put it in between, I can stamp this out. Probably. After I use a fill, sometimes I get this bug where I can't use the stamp tool. So I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to drop it down in here, replace that image record. And now I should be able to do that no problem. And see, now we're getting this neat interaction between the different shapes. And this is one of the reasons why like separating it can be a useful way to add these elements. Let's switch over to some of these other ones. I think I'll go back and forth here a little bit and do some that are above. I think I'm going to move that one over here. Yeah, they just go right around it. That would be the classic way of it happening, right? Yeah, very cool. So we have a nice little layout here. We have some interesting looking ice, and then we also have some elements over here. So now I'm going to go back into my decorations here. And here we have lots of like snow-covered stones and whatnot, so we can start to build up some more interesting. We also have broken ice areas, right? So included right in this are some elements where we could just grab this and we could go back down onto this layer and we could just stamp this wherever we wanted to and create these openings in the ice. So super easy to kind of do there. We'll decide later if we want to add some of those or not. But I think what I want to do now is I'm going to grab some of these like stones and we'll come up here and we'll add some additional kind of interesting things that will break up the monotony of these kind of like white scapes. And maybe we'll add in some other stuff as well. Here's kind of a collection of debris and whatnot. And then we also have like snow drifts and such that we can use and place around. Maybe we'll use this guy. So let's say, and this is another nice use case scenario. Let's say I want to place this here, but I really don't want it to overhang out there. So what I would do is I switch over to using it as a fill. And so basically all I have to do at this point is draw out the area in which I want to put it, right? I can switch back over to here. Let's drag it right over like this. And then I can go into my edit fill area here, and if I want to rotate it, and then I can move it around here. Let's actually angle it like this, I think. Maybe a little bit more. Shrink it down a little. I think we'll do it like here. And now all I have to do is adjust these. Whoops, I don't want to select the whole thing. I just want to select part of it to crop out and to show the areas that I want, right? But now I have the ability to move this over. Now I can double click this and grab it and it will, boom, just like this. Now I think what I'll do is I'll add some additional kind of like snow elements kind of coming up over this, but now we have this nice little rocky bit that goes out into here. Now the other cool thing about this is if I want to, I can also use the fade feature to blend this out a little bit more. So let's go back into our effects here. I'll go back over into our stamp. And let's grab something like this, I think will work well. I'm going to lower down its opacity a little. And I'm just going to stamp this out. And you can see now, again, that stamp doesn't seem to want to be functioning properly. The occluders, I mean, they're not occluders, but these elements do get created here. But for some reason, the stamp seems to stop working. So what we'll do is we'll just close it down and open it. go back into our painting tab here. And we can grab this guy once again. I think we'll do some opaque ones first. I'm going to lower down my opacity here and kind of fade this off. Let's add some. Let's get one of like something like this, and then we can add a little bit more texture here and maybe on some of these sides. Yeah, super cool. So what other elements do you guys think that we should have in this scene? Oxygen is a good element. Yeah, it's quite necessary, in fact. Yeah, lots of logs and things. We should do some logs maybe coming up out of the snow or frozen down into the ice. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm approaching the map creation kind of thing is I will think about what kind of encounters it's going to be. We're going to have something underneath the ice. So maybe we'll want to have some safe spots so we could do some rocks out in the middle. Yeah, we'll do something under the ice. What should we put under the ice? What would be a cool thing to kind of put down there? Oh, well, why don't we grab one of those like animated tokens? Ooh, a half sunken structure down there too. Oh yeah, that might be fun. I think that where are the? I think I have some of the. And that's not it. I might not have any of them loaded in here. The animated monsters. But you could grab something like that and put it under there. Oh yeah, we can do that. We can do so yeah, we'll do like some sort of structure. Do you think part of it should be sticking up out of the ice? So maybe what we'll do is do part of the structure, you know, as it's like fallen over and crumbled, and then sunken down in, and then you can see bits of it underneath the ice. Yeah. Trap doors always invite characters in, don't they? Yeah, you can totally do that. We can also do another way to approach that is to lower down the opacity of the ice itself. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start to build some of that stuff up here. So let's see. How will I go about? We can start to create some debris over here, and then make it look as though that some of it is kind of sunken down into the ice itself, right? I think we'll start on this layer. And we'll grab some of these like stone blocks. I think this is from the haunted places. So let's go to haunted places here. I think we're going to make a new layer just so it might be a little bit easier to manipulate. And then we can start to add in some elements like this. And with that, we can kind of, what I'll do is I'll take some of the ice and bring that up and around here, and we can make that kind of look like it's going down in there. We can grab that. Let's move this over a little bit. Then we can come up onto this layer. So I'll grab something that we can use for the ice. I want to try to create like a little bit of a thing around there. Oh yeah, I heard. Uh, did you look? Are there any? Yeah. I think these are all great suggestions and they'll be very happy with them. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to show you guys what I'm thinking about with this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into the ellipse area here, and I'm going to grab this and I'm going to put this into my fill. And then I'm going to, yeah, let's do this on a separate layer so I can have a little bit more control over it. And we're going to drag out seems to be a little bit wonky again. Let's try that one more time. So we're going to go here. We're going to go to this new layer. We're going to turn off our stroke. We're going to switch over. We're going to grab this guy and drop him right there. I'm going to switch over to my ellipse tool. And we're just going to drag out another section like this. And then we can move this over. And now I can go back to my ellipse tool. And I think, well, actually, yeah, let's do subtraction with the ellipse right here. And this is okay, because what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move this. And then I can zoom in here and get this nice and close. And I'm going to use this to cut this off and make this seem as though that it's going around this object. And now what I can do is I can go into here and I can lower down the opacity of this a little bit. And that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good representation of it kind of like sticking down into the ice, right? And now what we can do is I'll add in a little bit more stuff around this edge here on this particular layer. And we can go, let's go into our effects again. And I'll grab something like this, or we might even want to do like some cracks or something coming off of there. But let's grab this. And I'm going to squash this down a bit. All right, let's move this down and then squash this down a bit. Lower down the opacity a little and do some kind of stuff coming off from here. Just to give it a little bit more of like a shape. Oh, really? I'll have to try that. And we can also go into our edit fill, and we can bring that down into a closer color with the rest of our ice here. And you can see we have this little bit of a bit as it kind of comes through. And now we can use that same tactic on anything that we want to decide is kind of sticking up out of the ice itself, right? Yeah. Well, you have to become friends with Phil too. He's a great guy. So let's see what we have in here for like tower. See if there's anything that we can just kind of grab quickly. I think we'll just build anything that we need, however. Yeah, so what we'll do is I think what we'll create a new painting layer and we'll put it all the way down at the bottom. Well, I guess there's a couple of different ways that we can kind of approach this. Let's build it above first, and then we can kind of decide how we want to do it. But I'm thinking what we do is we just lower down the opacity of the ice. We might want to make two layers of the ice. One that's lower opacity, and so that we can kind of build between it, but you still get the full effect of the ice itself. But we'll kind of see here, right? So let's look at maybe using something like this. That's going to go pretty well with our elements over here. We're going to build a little bit of something that's kind of coming up out of the entrance area down into below, and then we'll worry about how it's going to work further down. I guess what we can do is go back to this layer at the moment. We should start naming some of these layers, actually. So here we have ice. And here we have snow. And this is all of our bricks. But we can use some of these things as well. We might want to use, let's think about this a minute. I'm thinking what I might want to do is do like a larger kind of piece, like here, sticking out. Yeah, let's do that. So in fact, what I'm going to do is stone floor. might want to do, let's look at stone fill. You know what I'm going to do? I think I'm actually going to I'm going to grab these stone blocks. And I'm going to go into my image creation over here. And thinking I'm going to make my own little fill element here. So I'm going to line this up pretty well here. And I'm going to grab a couple of these different shapes. Because I want this to match pretty well here. And we'll line that right up there. Yeah, we're going to make a way to get inside for sure. Don't you worry. I'm going to kind of show you what my plan is here. And we'll duplicate that one more time. Bring this down like this. I think we'll kind of arrange them a little bit more so that they're like this way. Let's do some flipping to, break up the monotony of it. Yeah, the FG Masons. That's right. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm going to export this. And this is going to be stone blocks fill. And we're going to export that as, I'm going to do it as a PNG. So that should work pretty well. So if we go into our, I think it's in campaign actually. And we refresh. and I look for fill, here's this one that we just made. Right? We have like some smoke fills and stuff too. So now I can close this down. And if I come back into this this painting area over here, I can go to, you know what? I'm going to make another painting layer. I'm going to put this down here. Let's go into here. I'm going to make a rectangle of this. Let's turn off our stroke. And let's do that. Oh, no, I didn't. That's the wrong one. So I'm going to fill this out a little bit. I could probably just stamp it, actually. But I think that if I do it this way, right, then I can go into this tab. And one of the things that I can do now is squash the fill, which I would not be able to do if I were to do it as a stamp. And so now I can rotate this. And I can give it some sort of distortion here. Going back into this tab, yeah, let's make it a little bit like this. And we'll need to make it a little bit bigger so it fits the size of these bricks. So we can just kind of drag that out. Something like this. Yeah, I think that that should work pretty well. I think we need to squash it, though, a little bit more. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty well. Maybe we'll do it this kind of angle like that. And then what we can do is create another kind of side of it here. You know what I should have actually done? I should take this maybe and put this into the image creation window and do it there. And then bring it back in here a little bit easier. Yeah, why don't we do that? So I'm just going to delete that layer. Let's go back into our image creation where we have this. And what I can actually do now is delete these. Because I want to do the manipulation here and then export it and then bring it in. So we go back into our rectangle, turn off our stroke, switch over here. How big do we want to make this? Maybe something like this. And we can go into here and let's make this a lot smaller. Now we can go back into this tab and we can kind of squash it a little bit. And we'll rotate it here a little bit. And give us that kind of angle here. Oh, thanks so much, Chaotic Help. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a secondary layer here to give it a little bit more shape, right? So we can create a new painting layer and drop it down in underneath. And we can go back to our haunted places here. Let's go into our images. And I'll grab some of these stones. I'm going to use them as like the other side of the facing over there. So I can switch to stamp tool now. And let's grab something like this. And it's going to be going at a different direction, right? So we actually want to have something kind of like this. But maybe we want to do it with a fill so that we can adjust it a little bit as well. So let's try that. Oh, let's see here. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. And now you can see here, I can rotate this again. And then I can cause some adjustments to it in here. Let's see if we can get this to work here. Yeah, and I think what we do is we now darken this down a little bit, right? And then we can duplicate this. And we'll have to come in here and let's rotate that a little bit. And then we'll do one more. Now I'm not going to worry about this end down here because this is going to be like stuck down into the ice. And what I'm actually going to do here, let's just rotate this slightly like that. What I'm actually going to do here is go into this area, and we'll kind of like tighten that up a little bit, make it, because there should actually be another kind of like layer there. And then we have this one here, and I'm gonna duplicate this as well. And I'm gonna put this on the bottom, and we'll move this like that. And again, I'm gonna go into the painting tab, and we can kind of tighten this stuff up. We'll do something like this. We can actually probably even rotate those lines to kind of match up a little bit. Yeah, probably something like that. And then I'm going to darken this up quite a bit here on this one. Actually, let's grab some of these as well. Just want to make sure that yeah, maybe we'll just do. But this is going to be fine. So now I'm going to export this. So we go down here. I'm going to export this. Let's do it as a WebP. Stone wall. And now we can go into our campaign here, refresh it. And here we have it all exported here. And now we can come back into here, go onto our bricks layer. Let's go over here. And now I can just grab this, and you can see it's all ready for us to go. I think what I'm actually going to do is, let's do it. It's going to be like this way. Yeah, like this. Sticking up out of the ice. Actually, you know what? I think maybe we should do it something like this, sticking up out of the ice. Yeah, let's do it this way. Get this back down to its appropriate size here. Nice. And then what we can do is we can grab this over here. We want to do the same kind of thing here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab this, and then we're gonna drag out a new one of these. And we can use Control to change the scale of that so it's nice. It's the appropriate size for us. So something like this. And I'm going to make this a little bit more, opaque here. So you can get this really good feeling that it's kind of going down into the ice here. And then we can come in here. And again, we're going to control it so it feels like it's add a little bit more of these in here. Yeah, now we can kind of create some really cool effects here. And I'm going to go over, let's go to our stamp tool over here. I'm going to grab this again. Nope. I want, this. We can make this a bit larger now. I think we'll go back here, and now on this snow layer, we can go down one here. Let's grab this guy again, except this time, we can add in it to be something maybe like this. And we'll add some additional kind of bricks here to make this not seem so structure oriented. And then we'll add in some additional kind of this ice here as well. But what I want to do now, let's go to stone steps. Let's see. All right, so let's do stairs. Or we can build our own if one isn't at the perfect angle for us. Yeah, so what I want to do is kind of make this into a makeshift entryway. And we'll do some of these bricks kind of going across here. And then we'll do like a dark shadow kind of coming out from there. And then we can add in some more piled kind of debris on top. I think I want to angle this a little bit more actually though. So I think what I actually want it to be, oh, not that way, is more like this. Yeah. Let's go into here and grab some of these, maybe like this one, I think. And then on this layer, yeah, we'll use something like this. Now let's grab, this will just be like a makeshift kind of thing. We're going to do some ice up and along here. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. We're going to grab this guy, and I'm going to make this dark. And we'll do, I'll change the opacity of it a little bit here. Make this kind of like this obvious down into the darkness. Yeah, I'm starting to like that. Now let's go back up into here, this ice covering areas, right? And let's turn that off. And again, we can just kind of grab this information here. We'll make sure we're creating a new one. And then we're going to make some ice over on this area. And I think we can make that a bit smaller. And then we can manipulate this to Let's lower down its opacity here a little bit. Hey, Jiminy. Yeah, that's starting to look pretty cool. So now what I'll do is I'll take some of these other block shapes and whatnot, and we'll start to add in some additional ones here, I think. Let's open that up again. And we can even go back down into this layer and have some stuff kind of poking out from behind. Bits of debris around. little bit too far. Let's do that. Now, once we add in our shadows and whatnot from these elements, we'll really get a good understanding about how this is all interacting together. What do you guys think so far? Pretty cool? All right, I'm going to take a short break and I'm going to get another cup of coffee. So why don't you guys just hang out for a few moments? I'll be right back. And we'll continue this. We'll start to do some cool stuff underneath, add in our shadows and whatnot, and yeah, do all kinds of fun stuff. So if you guys just want to hang out for a minute, I will be right back. All right, and we're back. So let's get back right to the action here and start to build some more stuff. So we're going to be doing some stuff underneath the ice now, and we can start to create some a little bit more of a perspective here for kind of what's going on here. Now in play terms, we could actually create it, right? So we have our ice here. We can just turn this off. We can actually put everything, you know, so if we wanted to do stuff that's underneath the ice, we could create an entire other basically map underneath. And all of this updates in real time to your players. So if you hide something like this, it gets hidden to all of the players connected to you as well. So you have a lot of freedom to kind of do that stuff. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to lower down the opacity of this one. Let's lower it down to something like maybe like this, right? And you can see it has a little bit of an impact on what we have going on here, but not much. We still have a pretty solid foundation. Now what we can do, what do we have in this layer? I think that's the one that I was going to paint on. We can put this underneath here, right? If we go back into our campaign here, in our two kind of like stone walls that we have going on here, if I come back over into here, as you can see, if I stamp this underneath, we get a pretty good representation of what it's going to look like. So I'm going to come back up into here, and we can increase that opacity a little bit, find our sweet spot for what we want to do. The other thing that we're going to want to do is on this painting layer, we're going to want to darken the whole layer because we want to make sure that the elements seem a little bit sunken away from us. And we want to make sure that these values stay pretty close to each other, right? We might want to add a little bit of a blue tinge to it as well. And I'm going to do this on the layer side of things so that it's going to affect everything that we put down. And we can adjust it after. Now, if we didn't have this one underneath here, you can see that it would give us a very strange kind of effect. So we want to have something that's going to be behind whatever we do with the lower opacity, so that we can kind of adjust it and maintain some sort of opacity over the entire image. So if we wanted to, we could like go, for example, we have like a fish brush that's all animated. So I could grab and drag this into here. Maybe we're going to do something like this, do like an ellipse, and we could drag out some fish swimming around underneath the ice, as you can see here. And I could grab this and move this around. Maybe we want to put it like so. I think we'll add in some of these elements like here. We'll kind of build up this sunken element over here a little bit. Nope, don't want data. Want campaign. And we can always come in here and move some of these things around. Find so you guys have any other suggestions on what we should add to this? Sure, you want to do like some clouds kind of going overhead? Sure. Yeah, it's pretty simple to do that kind of stuff. But I'm glad you enjoy it. I think before we do clouds going overhead, I'm going to go, let's create a new painting layer, and we're going to make this for our shadows. And I'm going to lower down the opacity of it and make it quite dark. Also going to turn off my aspect lock ratio, and I like to use it a little bit oblong. Seems to work a little bit better for me. And these are going to be a little bit dark, but I'm going to be able to go in and control a lot of it on the layers tab itself. And we don't have to be very exact with this. You can just kind of be a little bit loose and have some fun. I'm just going to grab and drop that somewhere else. Just do some general just to help give everything a little bit of shape here. Sure, we can do a tree or two. Now let's go over into here, into our layers tab, and now I can lower down the opacity and I can adjust that a little bit more. And now I'm going to do some like larger kind of ones that are I think so too, Bill. And we can go in. Let me go back into this area over here. I'm going to go down onto this layer and just grab some of the snow real quickly. And we'll come back up to here. I'm just going to add in some snow on top of this. Yeah, very cool. So now what we can do is we can add in, if we wanted to do like an effects layer, we could come over into here and we could do our clouds. And I will add a mask to this and we'll just keep it like right here. And then we can control some of this stuff. And we can so the way that the clouds work, right, is that 50 is completely stationary. And then the other below 50 will make it go into the other direction here. So if we want to slow them down, we could do something like this. We can also increase their opacity. And then there's the shadows of the cloud. So if we just want the cloud shadows, as you can see here, we can increase the speed of them a little bit. So this would be just like the shadows of the clouds as you can see them kind of moving above the scene. But if we want to add in some of the cloud itself, we can certainly do that. Oh, thanks, Brive. Brive Ryan. Another thing that we could add in is if we added another effects layer, I'll put it below our clouds because this is all a layer hierarchy. And so we could go to our adjust colors. And here we could, let's bring this up a bit. We could do some shiny spots on our ice. I think I would rather do yeah, less bright and more blur. Or maybe like this. Might bring down the brightness a little bit. Yeah, maybe something like this. Then we can add some to some of these spots out here. And there we have a pretty well completed map. We could even add in, if we wanted to do, instead of clouds, we could add some snow. And the way that this works is we have the snow intensity and the size of the flakes. So we could bring this down and then change the speed. So we have this nice soft snowfall. We also have a blizzard effect here. Let's bring that speed down quite a lot. I'm going to say that this is a little bit buggy. But something like this could work pretty well. Yeah, so you guys have any questions? Is there anything that I did that you're not exactly sure how I did it, or? Sure. Yeah. I have been. I'm making a series of steampunk stuff. Yeah, it'll eventually go up onto the forge, and you guys can. There's some discussion about how to put them on the forge currently. So, but once that's through, we'll get them up there. So yeah, I'm doing a series of like steampunk kind of things, and with the new Chases map pack that recently came out, I'm starting off with steampunk vehicles. So if we go into, I believe I have it loaded here, might be able to show this. Yeah. So here is some of the stuff from it. So we have things like hot air balloons and some blimps and whatnot, as well as cars, but also all of the different tools to build anything that you really want to. So if you wanted to, like, for example, I can do like a really quick demonstration here. Let's name this Frozen Lake. So if we come in here, we can come over and I don't think we really have to worry too much about it. Let's just go into our tools. So you can grab something like this and drop it in here, and then we can start to put some of these elements together, right? So let's see here. We have some tires. Whoopsie. And let's see, this was actually created with these different parts, as you can see here. So actually move that there. And then we can go into, let's grab a seat. We'll just make this a one-seater right here. And we'll grab like a steering wheel. So I think what we'll do is, maybe we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do this one. We'll have it like that. And then we can move our seat back a little bit. Get some leg room. Oh, thanks, Chaotic Elf. Should be cool. And there's some additional animated ones elements in this as well. So like some animated electricity and some steam discharges and so on. So yeah, it should be pretty fun to play around with and create some of these cool things. And as I said, this is just a start of a series of things that we'll be using in this genre. So I'm going to be doing some different buildings and so on. And remember, once you've created a creation like this, right, we could go in, add in some shadows here. Let's lower down that. We could add in any sort of like bells and whistles that we want to. And once I've created my little creation here, I can just export this and then have my own asset built like super easily. The animated images will be listed in the individual packs themselves. Everything since animation became available, I have included animated elements into every art pack since then. So yeah. So if you hit this little export button, you'll get a pop-up window, and you can save it as like a JPEG, a PNG, or a WebP file. And you can save it right into your campaign. So if I were to, I'll save this as a WebP, and we'll save it as, let's see, car 3, and boom, it's been exported. Now if I come back over into here, into my campaign data, this is where I saved it. And so here's one that I tested out a little while ago. And so I'll refresh this, and here's the one that I've just made here, and it's a new asset. So I could, get a little error there. I can just now drag and boom, I have a new asset that I just made. And see, here's one that I made a while back. Testing out some of these assets. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, you can pretty much build whatever you want to inside of Fantasy Grounds now. Yeah, you're very welcome. So if do you guys have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we'll call it here for today. We did complete that nice little frozen lake. Last time we went through. Let's do. Last time it was the. We made this map. Finished this map up. So if you ever get this bug, just to let you know, sometimes some of these animated things have a little bit of a bug to it. All you have to do is hide it and re-show it, and it will fix that. But we made this this cool little place last time, and you can see this is all animated images that are included in some of the art packs. This is the lava, a volcanic art pack. We made this kind of post-apocalyptic transport across this. And the way we set it up is we can go to our transport, and it's all one unit, and we can actually move it across if we wish. Great. Well, if there's no other questions, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I always really enjoy these streams. And as always, if you guys ever have any questions, or if there's anything you'd like to see me cover, please let me know. I'm more than happy to do that. Or if there's something that you need further explaining, I'm more than happy to experiment, and we can try to figure out anything that you come across together. So I'll be here again this next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully I get to see you then. And otherwise, have a great week. And thanks all.